right. This place is dangerous. Take my hand.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
World is full of clowns. They're all stupid and they're proud. Fainted smiles on their mouths. I don't hang with bozos, homie. I can't be around. Rise up. Can't let them divide us. You and me, we can burn this world down.
Hello, everybody. Shit. This is the wrong game, isn't it? We're not talking about Halo. And obviously joining me...
Okay, kid. Give it to me.
But evidently there are mods that you can mod Master Chief into Fallout 4, though. So that counts, right?
I suppose so.
Anyway.
Well, there was news regarding that, of course.
I just want an excuse to wear that to start something.
Yeah.
Because I haven't used that thing in a while.
But you do know that Halo becoming a non-exclusive is like the last straw in the console wars, right?
Yeah, that was also the excuse to wear it, to bring that up briefly before we actually get to why we're here.
Yeah.
Because, as you guys is well documented by this point in time, Nord and I have a long history with Xbox.
Yep.
It's probably longer than Nintendo at this point, right? Even though that's where we started as kids.
Yeah, as with most people. I mean, really, honestly, the normal path was when you were a kid, you played Nintendo. When you were a teenager, you played Sony. And as an adult, you play Xbox. And then eventually you become an older adult and you buy a PC and you play PC.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of how it turned out for me. But
that's the way it should be.
Because we started out with Nintendo, and as you said, and then I made my way to PlayStation. But there was a period when I was still like a teenager. I wasn't even really an adult yet, but I, and you with me, were playing on the original Xbox, the GameCube, and the PlayStation 2 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could. Because by that point, I had started working, and I was buying my own shit by then.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I bought, you just came along with me at the time until I started going, you know what? I'm done fighting with you over who got to play what when. Here's one of your own.
I think we all know, though. I think the overarching point I would make here is we all know that grown-ass adults are never going to be all excited about a Nintendo console and go and, play massive multiplayer online games with each other on fucking Nintendo. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
But on that note, to why we're here, Fallout 4. And obviously the title of this, as you guys will see, is Why Do I Like Fallout 4? Because it's, for starters, not Fallout 76.
Yeah. Well,
and that teases probably, no, not probably, I can guarantee you what we'll be talking about next time we do Breaking Rocks, episode 76. We're going to be talking about Fallout 76.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and why the Fallout stuff now? Because tomorrow, Fallout 10th Anniversary Edition is dropping from Bethesda and whoever that worked on it. right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, let's just talk about to begin with, and then we'll get into any news stuff by the end in gaming at that point. And yes, I know some people are going to say, this is Breaking Rocks. You're doing gaming stuff on Breaking Rocks again? Given certain things that we have to say about other topics in the gaming realm today, yes, Breaking Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know what I mean when I get to it.
Well, I mean, as we said before, you could be a gaming, podcaster for a long time. Probably all the way until about 2016.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a gaming podcaster all the way through the 2000s, into the 2010s. But as soon as 2016 came, if you were a gaming podcaster, now you had to get political because it decided to get political as a topic itself.
Yeah, because
like the game journos and the infiltrators into the gaming industry are the ones that forced us to be this way.
Yeah. Would I rather do the gaming discussion, whatever stuff on Drudat Games? And yes, I have a T-shirt with the logo on it now for the other channel. Because it's the main channel as I see it. Because it was the first one I created, and this channel is linked to that one. So, but as it is,
we would love our gaming worlds and our gaming discussions and our games to be completely devoid of anything involving real politics. We would love that. We don't get to have that luxury anymore.
I've been trying to bury my head back in the gaming sand, but the gaming industry won't fucking let me.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I forgot. I mean, the gaming industry won't.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to do that. Even though I don't do that in my reactions to like Tom's videos here on the channel.
Yeah.
But then again, this is the underground, so who really gives a if I do that when I say something like shit or fuck anyway.
We've never been much for self-censorship anyway, so
And I've only done that just to make fun of it.
Uh-huh.
So on that note, as I was saying earlier, the title, why do I like Fallout 4? Well, as you guys see in the thumbnail, to a point, you can't see some of it because we're in the way, but single player, that's one reason. Because in Fallout 76, and I'll get more into this on the next episode when we talk about Fallout 76, but they have a subscription service called Fallout First. And what's locked behind that? Private servers. The ability to play Fallout 76 without anyone else in the world as if it's a single-player game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay you to let me play the game by myself from a studio that makes fucking single-player games.
Yeah.
So, instead, that's why Bethesda can take Fallout 76 and shove it up their ass, and that's one reason why I like Fallout 4. And there are many reasons.
Yeah, I guess we kind of have to leave the PvP problem discussion for 76, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll save that in depth for that. But that's one reason why I like Fallout 4. It's a single-player experience. Mm-hmm. Another reason why I like Fallout 4 is, some people didn't like this. I actually kind of liked it. That you didn't have to go through the entire game not being trained to use power armor. Instead, it was treated more like a vehicle type thing. I kind of like that. Nord?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, one of the big frustrations with 3 was you have to bust your ass and play, probably at least dozens of hours before you got to the power armor section, which was the sale point of the game.
Oh, and by the way, we're probably going to be spoiling a lot of different Fallout games throughout here too. So if you don't want spoilers, you haven't played a Fallout game, don't watch. And
yeah, clearly we're not going to hold back any spoilers here.
Yeah, and if you don't care about spoilers and you haven't played, please feel free to stay.
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, when you get to the Citadel in Fallout 3, that's when you finally, after seeing your dad die, you finally get the option to go talk to one of the Paladins. I don't remember their name. You might, but you go talk to one of them to finally get trained in power armor.
Yep.
And you've probably been playing it for at least half a dozen days, like a few hours or whatever.
Yeah, no, I was like thinking it's probably like a minimum of about 12, 15 hours if you were blazing. I would think it would be still quite a while before you get to that point, even if you were really running, speed running.
Which means that up to that point, at least for me, stealthing my way through the wasteland, kind of had to do that. Until I finally got power armor, which was just late last night with me playing Fallout 3 again.
Yep.
And the only power armor I had on me was the Enclave's armor, because I just got done fighting them on my way from Project Purity to the Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked up some of their armor, repaired it with the other ones I found. And as soon as I got the training, first thing I do amongst the Brotherhood, put on Enclave armor. Oh, that's intelligent.
Yeah, and so I think what we can see here, already sort of starting to show itself in the conversation, is that the iconic nature of number 3, Fallout 3, it sort of presents itself pretty broadly here.
Yeah.
Number 4 was good, but you notice something about it. Is that there isn't anything really like culturally iconic that stands out about it.
Yeah.
Quite like with number 3.
Yeah. On the one hand, 3 was a role-playing game.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word. In the type of combat, cool point, and in the storytelling, and especially in the leveling up system. Fallout 4 dialed a lot of that back to be more of like wanting you to be treated like an FPS.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Which, don't get me wrong, it was a very fun, and I loved it as an FPS, but it was a Fallout game first.
Yep.
And you could tell that by the fact that Brotherhood's there, the Railroad, who made a brief appearance in 3, in the replicated Man Quest.
Yep.
What's that?
I was going to say the concepts that they ran with, that they really, really made so impactful with 3, like, the VAT system and the class system, with your character development. Mm-hmm. And, they really, really like pioneered that pretty well. I know it was part of the story from the very first game. I get that. But what I mean is like they really, really started something great in number 3 with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And they also had a very compelling storyline and an unafraid storyline too. And a storyline that wasn't written by people who were, possessed, so to speak, by, modern politics.
By the woke cancerous hive mind. Yeah.
The sweet baby inks of the world didn't get their hands on it.
Because they didn't exist yet. Mm-hmm.
And that's actually one of the things that makes it so iconic and great, is because it's a storyline written in a world that truly, it's supposed to be our world, but it's very apart from our world, and it doesn't have the same, it doesn't have any messaging, to our current day, like the games that came after.
Obviously, in Fallout lore, there was a divergence point from the Fallout universe and ours. And that point was immediately after World War II.
Yeah.
And in accordance with Fallout lore, that divergence point was in our world, the transistor or whatever was invented, right?
Yeah, and
in the Fallout universe, that never happened.
Yeah.
Which is why they're stuck in the 1950s, everything. And everything's nuclear powered, like even Cogsworth.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the primary difference is the world actually did blow itself up from nuclear war.
Yeah, and you constantly get blown up by the cars because they're nuclear powered too.
Uh-huh. So, the what I meant to say, like, this is actually what highly defines the concept of what's woke and what isn't.
Mhm.
If a game or a piece of media that you're watching or playing or whatever is trying to preach something to you, that would be what we define as woke.
Mhm.
All right. It's trying to tell you, hey, here are my morals. You should share my morals too. I think my morals are superior to your whatever your morals might be.
Yeah,
That's a
and
woke game.
on the contrary to what some people have said online and this, that, and the other thing, politics has always been in entertainment, gaming, and this and the other thing, but it hasn't always tried to beat you over the head like a stick with
Well, a
it.
lot of times it was
A lot
apart
of
from
it-
real life.
Yeah, that and or it was subtle. It was, yeah, baked into whatever, but you didn't really notice it until you sat and thought about it.
If you were to play ye old games, you would still find a political element, of course. But what
Yeah.
you wouldn't find is that political element having anything to do with real world politics.
Mm-hmm.
You would find it like, oh, well, I'm going to join the Stormcloaks. It's like, okay, well, yeah, there's nothing like that in real life. It's like there's no parallel to find. That's a completely apart politic from real life.
Yeah.
And so you can be political in like Skyrim, for instance. You could be all political and shit, but it's got nothing to do with real life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what we're talking about here. The woke aspect is where real life politics infects a game, to where your real life politics has something to say about the game, or the game has something to say about real life politics. That's where the woke aspect comes into it.
Yeah. So with that, obviously the next thing on the list of why do I like Fallout 4? It's not woke.
Yeah.
And
Which in this day and age is really like, a tall ask, apparently.
but also Fallout 4 came out the same year as The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, so there's that.
So it is again a pre
2016 thing.
A pre Gamergate era game, so
Well, Gamergate 2, I guess. Point.
yeah. Well, we all know. We'll never
Which
forget,
is actually coincidentally actually Gamergate 3, but who's keeping track at this point?
What how many gamer gates are we on now? 4, 5, 6?
I don't know. I stopped counting after 3.
Yeah, it's just continual.
But on that note, the next item on the list of why do I like Fallout 4? We talked about the single player. We talked about the power armor and how that's treated. We talked about the fact that it's not woke. Now we got to talk about the obvious elephant in the room that's keeping Skyrim alive to this day.
Yep.
The mods. And that's not necessarily even on Nexus because they're woke as fuck. And it's not on any of these other sites. Personally, for the most part, I'm playing with the console mods on Xbox. I'm going to be screwing with the ones on PlayStation to play Fallout 4 on Drudat Games at some point in the near future to try to do a Drew play for Fallout 4 eventually. But that's obviously going to be after the 10th anniversary update bullshit tomorrow at that point. So probably Tuesday or something. I don't know. We'll see. But
yeah, I was
and-
gonna. Oh,
what's
sorry.
that?
I was
Go
just gonna say that the fact that the longevity of games, once they've kind of run their course in regards to being released and having players play them and enjoy them and whatever, and play the normal storyline and complete the game and all that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what always happens. If a game wants to remain relevant or, playable or popular, they really have to have modding going on. And that's the one thing that keeps them interesting and relevant over the years.
Yeah, and that's one thing Bethesda has done good in the past is make the code available so fans can mod the shit out of the game. Now, in recent years, they've been trying to monetize the fucking mods.
Yeah.
Like they did when they updated Skyrim when the most recent edition of that for the current gen consoles came out. Or it was I think prior to that when they changed the mods and the Creation Club into just creations, which coincidentally that's what they're doing with Fallout 4 currently as we speak. They're doing that and releasing that tomorrow. And among other things, which we'll get into when we get to that part. But back to talking about the mods. As you guys see at the top, and I wanted this image to be visible the whole time, this is Heather Kasdan. She is a modded character for Fallout 4. And arguably, in my opinion, the greatest follower, companion mod, whatever, for Fallout 4. Bro?
Oh, yeah. And that's the kind of thing we also saw with Skyrim. It's the same pattern, really.
Yeah.
The custom mod followers and the mods in general is really what have turned these games from good into possibly great.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases.
And also the fact that probably my favorite mod for both Fallout and Skyrim, as in Fallout 4, the alternate start mod.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Far and away. But as it is, though, if you want to fidget with the main story of Fallout 4, you probably should be doing the vanilla start anyway. Because otherwise, trying to roleplay as something else with the alternate start kind of fucks everything up, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine that being pretty actually goofy.
Like, case in point, if you want to help the Minutemen, and along the way you accidentally talk to Cogsworth, he's going to react to you like you left after the bombs fell, even though you're trying to roleplay as a merchant from the New California Republic or a former New California Republic desert ranger from the Mojave or something.
So you would have to additionally mod the dialogues. Otherwise,
Yeah,
the dialogues
but
aren't going to make
unfortunately,
any
those
sense.
mods like that, I don't see on console. Only
Sure,
on
you
PC.
wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't. So, yeah.
Because the script extender is not on console, only on PC.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the number one place to mod and play Fallout 4 is PC at that point, if you want to play with the best mods. If you don't care about that and you just prefer console, then the place you should play with mods on console is Xbox. Because PlayStation doesn't let external assets of any kind. So if you have a mod, guess what? It's using stuff that already exists within the game to change whatever at that point, which limits the fuck out of them. You know?
Yeah.
So case in point, if you want to use Heather Kasdan in your playthrough, don't play it on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to use the alternate start mod, don't play on PlayStation. It is what it is.
Yeah, no, so for me, just overall, I mean, I always consider Fallout 3 to be the most iconic of all. Just because of what it culturally did in the gaming industry and what it did for the gaming gaming world, I suppose. The trailblazing that went on with number 3.
Yeah. But from the world interaction role-playing aspect, New Vegas was better from that.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that if we're talking about the best Fallout game ever made, it's got to be New Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that is because the storyline, the setting, the uniqueness of it, the music in it, everything is so perfect.
The different interactions with the factions, as in if you are not on good terms with one of them, but you're wearing their armor, you could go right in and talk to them. No one really gives a shit.
Well, I mean,
which is
what
funny.
I would say is the storyline of Fallout New Vegas is just way better. It's a way more compelling, way more interesting, exciting story and setting. I mean, of course, that's because it's Vegas, so naturally it's going to be. But the fact that they married all of the elements together so well really just is what made that game the best in the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, Fallout 4 is good, and it really is an improvement on a lot of the what we might call glitches and problems with the other games, right? There's it's a lot more streamlined of a play experience than the other ones, and you probably would find it to be more easy to play. But the storyline isn't as memorable, and the setting isn't as memorable either. So, like, say, just the fact that everyone will make the joke about patrolling the Mojave Desert makes them wish for a nuclear winter, right? That's obviously a New Vegas bit, right? It's kind of like a calling card for Fallout.
Yeah.
But see, Fallout 4 doesn't have that. I mean, it doesn't really have that. You know what I mean?
They got the radiation storms, but...
Yeah, no, I know. But you know what I'm saying. The sort of charisma aspect of it, the memorable storyline, the Caesar's Legion, a lot of the memes that came out of New Vegas don't exist for Fallout 4.
There has been one thing that's always bothered me about the Fallout series, and that's, on the one hand, with Fallout 3, it was supposed to take place like 150 or so years after the bombs fell, right?
Sure, yeah, yeah.
But it looked more like they had fallen like a couple years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically, the whole gist of the entire series is supposed to be like, okay, what would the world have looked like if instead of surviving the nuclear threat of the Cold War, we actually went to war and we blew each other to smithereens?
Yeah.
That's basically the whole premise of the entire series.
But then, on the other hand, in Fallout 4, you got radiation storms. Shouldn't that have existed, like,
yeah,
in an earlier Fallout game, like Fallout 76?
You know, well, see, this goes to the problems of 76, which, by the way, that we're gonna dig into that one.
Or, considering the Fallout 3 looked like the bombs had just fallen, more or less, shouldn't the radiation storms existed in Fallout 3 not 210 years later in Fallout 4? Why are there radiation storms 200 years later?
This just goes to the fact that when you make too many sequels to a game, you start to lose the plot.
Yeah, because if we're going to look at science-based shit, and given the fact that you guys are listening to Drudat Games, or Drudat Underground, whatever, at Desert Nord,
yep,
science is going to come into effect at some point.
Sure, gamer nerd types like us aren't going to avoid that type of thing.
So, with that said, according with science, correct me if I'm wrong, radiation doesn't stick around for 200 fucking years.
Well, okay, some half-lives of some elements involved in nuclear explosions will hang around for a very long time. The problem is they don't get stronger at some point later. They are strong in terms of radiation at first, and then as their half-life goes, they become less and less and less and less radioactive.
Yeah. Case in point, in the real world, we have the perfect example in our modern world. Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Sure.
Our country nuked the fuck out of them in World War II.
Yeah.
Look at them today. You wouldn't notice.
Uh-huh.
At all.
Yeah, no, they've done a pretty fine job.
And I'm pretty sure it hasn't been 200 years or even 100 years since then.
Yeah, no, and the thing about it is, like, it all depends on the type of nuclear bomb you've developed, of course.
Yeah.
And the fallout from Hiroshima didn't have quite the half-lives as some of the elements produced at Nagasaki. But still, both cities are existent today. Mm-hmm. So there is that. And so this idea that, oh, well, once you get a nuclear bomb explosion in an area, it's fucked for eternity. That's the only reason that the Fallout theory or theme or storyline or whatever you want to call it works is because the whole world got nuked to shit. And there wasn't an unnuked area, so to speak, that was civilized to really help rebuild the rest of the world. every part that was formerly civilization got completely obliterated. So the world just fell into disarray. That's
Yes.
the whole storyline in a nutshell.
I'm going to show this. This is what it looked like right after the bombs,
Uh-huh.
like Fallout 3.
Yeah, pretty thorough decimation, yes.
Yeah. And then I'm going to bring up what it looks like today. Actually, this is a great image right here. The side-by-side image of what it looks like today versus right after the bombs. So, let's bring that up here. Because this, Bethesda, is what 200 years later, to a point.
Not even 200 years later, way less than 200 years later.
Yeah, not even 100 years later, after getting nuked, what a city would look like. Now, granted, I know some people are saying, but Drew, in the modern day, modern governments still exist. Yes.
Sure,
But-
and it was just two isolated nukings. It wasn't the whole planet.
True, but still, the ingenuity of human beings would still be able to, 200 years later, probably be able to pull something like this off.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
You can't sit there and tell me that 200 years later, it's going to still look like this.
Yeah, realistically,
Minus the mushroom cloud in the background,
yeah.
obviously.
Realistically, these types of things are, science fiction gets twisted up in real science. And
winds up ignoring it, too.
granted, you're going to have nuclear fallout products that remain in some cases, some cesium stuff and other heavy elements that are produced in the explosion that are going to remain in the soil near the site of the explosion for a long time. That's a given. But what's being illustrated here is that, assuming that all of human civilization isn't completely and totally annihilated and obliterated,
The planet is a big place.
we don't really have an example to go by to what it would actually look like, long after all of human civilization was nuked to bits. We don't have that example. We do only have these isolated examples where a city was nuked to bits.
Yeah.
We don't have the whole world example to go by.
But this is
So
the only
that's
thing
where-
that
that's
we
the-
have at this point, too.
That is the difference upon which the entire Fallout narrative lives.
Yeah, but also keeping in mind with the science behind how radiation works,
Yeah.
nuclear explosions work.
It does seem rather unlikely that human beings would go over 200 years without rebuilding
Yeah.
in a clean,
So
orderly sense. Yes.
it was a design decision by Bethesda, or
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yeah, it's very possible they don't understand the science involved, and that's par for the course with current
no,
game
to be
gaming
fair,
people.
they're really good at getting the map accurate to where the games are.
Yeah.
New Vegas was perfect. Fallout 3 was pretty accurate outside of like certain things they moved around for the sake of the size of the map and that they wanted in the game. They took some liberties with that, but in the case of Fallout New Vegas, not near as much.
It was close enough with New Vegas. It was close enough to where people who are familiar with the area would go, "Oh yeah."
And then they also took
You know?
some of the same liberties that they did with Fallout 3 with Fallout 4's map as well,
Yeah.
with Boston.
Yep.
But the general downtown area was more or less pretty accurate at times.
But yeah, so I mean, you can see how the game developers in these games are trying desperately to remain on the artsy side of things, more on the artsy side than the science side. You can definitely tell that they're kind of incorporating popular culture's science fiction type things into a very artistic, like real world simulation style thing. That's kind of the whole flavor of all of it.
Yeah.
And so again, this remains one of the most popular gaming franchises for those reasons. It's well put together, it's well designed for the most part, and the playability or replayability especially is really high, especially with mods.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's kind of like what I would say about Fallout 4 versus 3 in New Vegas.
Yeah.
Is that Fallout 4 really has the replayability because of the mods.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you could mod 3, you probably could. I mean,
You could, but it's just as fun, if not give or take more, with or without the mods, because Fallout 3 is just that good.
Yeah, no, Fallout 3 is so
Same-
iconic and replayable on its own, right?
And,
So,
and same thing for Fallout New Vegas. Fallout 4, you kind of need the mods at that point.
I would think so. Yeah.
And we've been playing Skyrim for so long that we
Yeah.
kind of need the mods at this point.
yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, Skyrim has been re-released to death, so that
Yeah,
one is
and
a whole other.
The first
ball
time
game.
we experienced Skyrim was in 2011, and it is also November right now, the 9th.
Yeah,
So it's almost the literal anniversary, 2 more days till when Skyrim came out.
mhm.
See, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So that was like 14 years ago.
Yeah, it would be the 14th anniversary. Yeah,
Yeah.
and still being played, still being streamed, still being modded as we speak.
Because Elder Scrolls 6 is still years away yet. And that's the
Uh-huh.
next game coming.
Yeah,
But
and
considering
ESO
how
is
woke
dying,
Beth-
frankly.
Yeah. And considering how woke Bethesda has been, I don't expect Elder Scrolls 6 to hit to the same degree that Skyrim did.
There's no way in 10 colors of blue fuck they would ever outplay Skyrim with any release of any Elder Scrolls game. There's no way.
And to be fair, and to play devil's advocate for a second, we did think that coming out of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, going into Skyrim, and we were wrong.
I mean, Oblivion didn't break records. Oblivion didn't have 10 re-releases. It didn't culturally impact
It-
quite like Skyrim did.
It's
You
just
didn't have
eventually
normies
too.
playing Oblivion.
Yeah.
Hell, you didn't even
Skyrim-
have half the Elder Scrolls community that even played Oblivion.
Skyrim had 3 re-releases just on the 360 and the PS3, not to mention releasing on Xbox One, Series X, the Switch 2, I think, at some point as well. And also like 3 different releases on PC as well.
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure we
Oblivion had
didn't even
one-
really become Elder Scrolls fans at all until it was almost to the time of the release of Skyrim itself.
Yeah. That was when we found Oblivion because we saw a review on XPlay at the time, back when G4 was still a thing, before the woke reboot came about years later. But we saw that review and went, let's see what this is, because this looks very interesting. Because you and I had just come off of playing our first RPG of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic at that point.
Yeah, the thing about it is, like, we were hearing about the upcoming release of Skyrim,
Yeah.
and we were like, okay, well, in order to prepare ourselves for whatever this is, we're gonna go ahead and you had gone and got a copy of the previous game, Oblivion, the one that was out at that time,
Yeah.
and said, I'm gonna play this, and we're gonna play this and see how it is. And we were like, oh, it's great. All right, cool, it's great. We're excited for Skyrim.
But then also at that same time, I was like, wait, this is Elder Scrolls 4. That means there's some
That means
stuff
there's
before this.
a bunch of stuff before this, yes.
And I went looking, and all I found was Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind because the previous 2 were only on PC.
Yeah. Mhm.
And we weren't doing anything with PC in those days at all.
Yeah, it's okay though, because I mean, like Arena was like side scroller type stuff, and Daggerfall was cool, but incredibly, yeah, a mile wide and an inch deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those games are tough to get into when they're
It's
like that.
yeah, Arena or not Arena, Daggerfall, as it is also called in Elder Scrolls 2, as you said, was a mile long but an inch deep.
A mile
Kind
wide
of-
but an inch deep. Yeah.
Kind of like walking from where I live here in Phoenix all the way to downtown, except for everything's covered in water up to your ankles.
Yeah. No, it's just the whole point is it was a massive.
I know.
It
Which
was
I know
a
will
massive
never-
game spatially, but it wasn't a very deep game
Yeah.
content wise.
Which I know my analogy will never happen because this is the Phoenix area. And water that's up to your ankles isn't going to last more than like a day or two before it dries up.
Yeah, and so when they got to Morrowind, they made Morrowind, right? And so
Yeah.
they finally made an Elder Scrolls game with Morrowind that was much deeper than the others,
And also on console. But it was only on
but
Xbox.
not nearly as wide as Daggerfall was.
Yeah.
So it was, a few feet deep and a few feet wide. It was a game you could get into,
But it
wasn't all encompassing.
but it felt wider than it was because there really wasn't any fast travel. You had to more or less walk literally everywhere.
Yeah, and so
And
then when Oblivion was made, Oblivion was basically the first time where you really had the first person, genuine immersive first person experience with Elder Scrolls, and where you could really actually enjoy yourself and have fun playing it.
And you could play it in third person too the whole time.
Sure, and you could play it in third person too, but it was a masterpiece in a sense, and especially when they remastered it. The remaster is fantastic in terms of appearance.
Oh yeah.
But then of course
Which
Skyrim
I've
came
been
along.
meaning to play on the channel as well.
The reason Skyrim became so iconic and so overplayed and so, widespread culturally is because it married everything together. A very wide, very deep, very impactful, very immersive story, very beautiful game, and just it became one of the most iconic video games of all time, and maybe the most popular video game of all time. I mean, really, broadly speaking, it probably is the most popular video game of all time. Other than maybe Super Mario, I guess. But they really kind of married everything together with Skyrim.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so successful.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just
I
want
feel like
something
a
while
little
we're
bit
talking.
like they still didn't really put all of the pieces together with Fallout. You know what I mean? Because the
Yeah.
Fallout games all have their own strengths, and nothing really stands out the way Skyrim did for Elder Scrolls. You know what I mean? None
Yeah.
of them really kind of put it all together the way Skyrim put it all together for Elder Scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, maybe going forward, finally there will be a Fallout game where they put everything together and it's totally iconic and memorable and compelling and immersive and good storytelling and everything. Maybe they'll do that still. Maybe it still could happen. I don't know. But they have had some missteps. So it's kind of been, a lot of people might say that the Fallout series is played out now, which, I mean, I could almost agree with that, but
Yeah.
but Fallout 4 was definitely a good entry instead of a misstep, whereas
Yeah.
76 was a misstep.
Still, the last couple things I have on my list here in my head that I didn't actually write down, but that are pictured in the thumbnail for this, because that's essentially my list is the thumbnail for this of why I like Fallout 4. First and foremost, Curie, one of the companions that you can get playing Fallout 4. And in her case, you go to Vault 81, complete the quest in there, and then you get her, this robot nurse scientist character. But you go through her backstory and you wind up helping her enter into a synthetic human's body, and she becomes human-ish at that point.
Yeah, the synths. The
Yeah.
ones that are convincing enough to confuse you.
What's the most enjoyable about Curie is her French accent.
Yeah.
And also the fact that poses questions, as does the other person that I will mention in just a minute. How does... No, actually, it's not really that much of a question, because now that I think about it, she was a robot. That means that someone programmed her with a French accent. Never mind, I take back the question that I was just about to ask.
Yeah, it doesn't mean she had to come from France. It just means that, whoever
was
programmed her had a thing for that type of sort of thing.
Okay, but the question does have to get asked about the other great character that you can have as a follower, Kate, the tough Irish girl that you meet in the combat zone.
Yeah.
And in her backstory, she was sold into slavery, bought her freedom, went home, killed her parents for selling her into slavery when she turned 18 years old, and got addicted to Psycho and whatever, and you help her get herself get cleaned in Vault whatever. I don't remember the number of the Vault that you end up helping her in, but that Vault was designed to help people get clean from addictions and whatnot. But my question is, how did an Irish girl with an Irish accent end up here?
Yeah.
In Boston, well, not here, I'm in Arizona, but in Boston, 210 years after the bombs fell.
Well, what you would have to assume, bro, is that somebody of Boston Irish descent had offspring that survived the war. And kept the accent the whole damn time. Yeah, the accent is the only weird part about that, because there's plenty of people who live in Boston today who are of Irish descent. That's true. But the accent is the only weird part.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, there's also a character in Fallout 4 somewhere with a British accent.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, no, that they would have to have a pretty complex backstory on that one too.
Yeah. To try to tiptoe around the plot holes that creates. Because plot holes are like landmines at this point, and there's a lot of them. But in spite of all the plot holes...
Yeah, I mean, I think that the only way around that is to somehow... try to explain how people might travel long distances efficiently enough to where the time it would take for you to travel that far wouldn't be so fucking long that you actually, had multiple generations between migration. Like, what I mean? Like, you would have to explain how a person might travel from those places to these other places in short order.
No, in the case...
And even though they're in this post-apocalyptic, destroyed world.
Now, in the case of Heather Kasdan, the Mahdi character, we know from playing with her character in Fallout, and yes, I know she's a mod and she's not canon, blah, 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 but...
Well, it's not my concern.
So...
Yeah.
With that being said,
we might have ourselves a lore breaker here.
Not entirely, because her backstory was both of her parents were Brotherhood. Her mom was a knight or a paladin, and her dad was a scribe. They traveled west, supposedly, with Elder Lyons to Washington, D.C. They didn't like how he was doing things, so they left, kind of like the outcasts in Fallout 3, right? Except for instead of going back west, they just went to Boston instead because it was closer.
Yeah, they got out of DC and went to Boston. Yeah.
Yeah. In other words, they kind of left the Brotherhood, except for eventually her father went back west without her to rejoin the Brotherhood. That is after Heather's mom had already died or whatever at that point. So Heather was left where you found her by her bunker when you first find her. After listening to her radio station of Heather casting caravans or whatever it is at that point. But the point I'm making is there's a lot of interesting characters. Now, I know not everybody likes these next ones that I'm going to mention, and this is the last part about talking about Fallout 4 and why I like it at this point before we move on to other stuff that we got to talk about. Piper. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
The nosy reporter, the nosy snoop, as she has said.
Yeah, journalist, quote unquote.
Yeah. When you first meet her, you're going into Diamond City. She's locked out because she wrote a scathing article about the mayor. What a surprise.
Uh-huh.
When she was accusing him of being a synth, which, spoiler, as it turns out, he was.
Yeah. So it's what we might call hard-hitting journalism.
Yeah. And you find that out. I believe you have to go do a number of things in Diamond City, but one in particular, you have to own a house there to trigger that situation, as far as I know. And I've only been able to trigger that, the part where you find out that he's a synth and have to deal with that. I've only triggered that twice ever. So I don't really know how it triggers. But the 2 times that it has been after I've bought a house in Diamond City. Now, I regularly do that, and sometimes it doesn't trigger at all. So I don't know if that's a part of it or not, but I know that if I don't do it, it never triggers. So, but as it is, though. Piper Wright is her full name. Very interesting character, a very moral character, wants you to go out and help people. Loves it when you help the Minutemen and help the people of the Commonwealth. Kate, not so much. She's not into that. She just wants to take her psycho and make caps however she can.
And so this character is basically what a journalist should be instead of what they are.
Pretty much, yeah. Piper Wright is an actual legitimate journalist.
Yeah, it's basically an optimized version of what a journalist thinks they are versus what they actually are.
And then obviously there's Cogsworth on screen here, whom is your robot butler at the start of the game before the bombs fell. Yeah. And then you have to go help the Minutemen, bring them to Sanctuary, and then Cogsworth becomes a potential companion at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of vanilla, you know?
Yep.
And then probably, here's an ad. Fuck off with your ads. There we go. So on that note, let me fast forward so we can show, arguably, in my opinion, probably the worst companion in Fallout 4. Ta-da! Preston Garvey of the Commonwealth Minutemen. Now, I have nothing personal against Preston. He's with the Minutemen. He's trying to help everybody, blah, blah, blah. But if you wanted someone to be a good guy, someone who helps everyone, why the fuck did Bethesda have to make him so damn annoying? Every time you talk to him, all he ever talks about is a settlement needs your help. There's nothing really there, bro.
Yeah, the depth and charisma, they really didn't build in very much.
And the fact that he's a black man, maybe Bethesda's racist.
Well, again, as we've said, as games get more and more sequels, they start to lose the plot and they start to lose the good writing aspect that comes with newer, IPs.
Yeah.
They start to hire too many people that don't care about the game, people who are self-promoting dumbasses, all sorts of types that don't belong anywhere near, a cherished IP.
Yeah, but Preston isn't the most annoying character to me. You know who is? Too far. Okay, let's pick it up from here. Because there is one follower that you get who's more annoying to me than Preston. Because he always gets in the fucking way. Yeah, he does fetch shit for you, which is all well and good, but he's always in the way when you're sneaking, always blocking you from shit. I'm talking about Dogmeat.
Mm-hmm.
Which is an apt name for him at this point, then, don't you think?
Yeah, you'd think man's best friend would be more helpful in this case, but...
Yeah, he's helpful. He'll fetch shit that he finds for you and brings it back to you. That's great. But it means nothing when you're constantly in the way, when you're getting fucking fired at and he's just standing there barking at you, just standing in the fucking way. And then you finally hop over him and you land on a fucking mine.
Yeah, not exactly your trained police dog canine type.
No,
really more just like...
He's arguably the dumbest dog on earth.
really
but,
just more like your regular rover problem dog.
But I blame Bethesda for programming him that way.
Yeah.
So, as we've said, and we're
it's
probably
definitely a side character that could use a redo.
Yeah. Hopefully that gets fixed with the next update tomorrow, but I'm not going to hold my breath because, as always, as we saw with Skyrim and an update that made dragons fly backwards,
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in our luck, Dogmeat will be walking backwards the whole time. With the next update.
I mean, and if you think about it, it could have been a really, really magnificent addition. Having a dog companion who sniffs things out, attacks enemies, could really be helpful.
The best dog companion, in my opinion, was in Fable 2.
Yeah.
To the point where, yes, we're going to spoil this too, because we have to talk about it. At more or less the end of Fable 2, your dog takes a bullet for you.
Uh-huh.
In Fable 2.
Yep. Yeah, no, and the dog in that particular case is always being helpful, finding treasures and stuff, guiding you along.
And he's never in the fucking way.
Yeah, he really doesn't ever get in your way for the most part.
But it's not really just Dogmeat. Literally every companion gets in your way in Fallout 4, though. And yes, I know that this is called Why Do I Like Fallout 4? And I'm talking about shit that I don't like. That shows you that I actually genuinely do like Fallout 4. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Bro?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, being able to accurately and fairly assess, a good criticism of a game that you actually enjoy.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody should be honest with themselves and say, oh, well, every game's got its flaws. Every game has its, little errors, little things. No game is perfect, and even the greatest games ever made have their flaws. So this is just one of those things that you just, if you played it, if you know it, if you love it, you'll point it out.
Yeah. So on that note, that's all I have on that. And now we're going to get into talking about the 10th anniversary or 10-year anniversary stuff for Fallout 4.
Yep.
And we're going to start that with, come on, here we go, looking at the trailer that Bethesda released for it. So let me turn the volume on, and here we go.
Remember, the vault doors are sealed for your safety.
Let me just pause it right there for a second. Vault doors are sealed for your safety, and I know it sounds like I'm going to be ripping this apart, because to a point I am, but the vault doors are sealed for your safety. Tell that to the one vault experiment where the vault doors were designed to not seal completely, allow radiation in, and turn everyone into ghouls.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Do not attempt to reach the surface. The surface is unsafe.
Yes, we know the game journals love the fucking shit out of every game they're paid
wasn't
to
the
love.
world
We know.
I wanted, but it was the one I found myself in.
We need someone who can bring the whole Commonwealth together in a common cause.
Oh, in that scene there with Pernwyn going by as you're coming out of Fort Hagen after you take out Kellogg, only once in any playthrough did I have Nick with me when I did that, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The rest of the time was either Kate, Piper, Cogsworth in one. Only once did I ever have Nick with me. No, which is also one other thought. I forgot about Nick Valentine.
Yeah.
The synthetic detective, because I didn't really care for him. You know?
Yep.
Bro?
Yeah, no, I mean you're always gonna play with the ones you like most. I mean, and so
Yeah.
it's interesting that the developers chosen that one to be in the scene. I guess it's sort of supposed to be like the vanilla experience or something.
Yeah, or the canon experience, because he's the
Yeah.
detective trying to help you find blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Your son and everything. But usually I had Piper with me. Just saying.
And I think you
And since I've been modding it, I've always had Heather with me as well. Because Heather doesn't take up a follower slot. So you can have Heather plus whoever else with you at that point.
Yep.
got it in you to be that leader. What do you say?
So, I know you're from a vault. How would you describe your time on the inside?
I'm going to get my son back. I'm going to find him.
I believe the term is Yahoo.
There's Curie.
Yeah.
I believe the term
Another
is
beautiful
Yahoo.
day. In the most dangerous place in the world.
It's the end of the world. All over again. Let's go, pal.
Yeah.
It's a member Barry's cash grab, everybody.
So now we can talk about what's actually included in the Anniversary Edition. All of the DLC that ever came off Forward Plus, over 150
Creation Club items.
Creation Club items. Most of which I have already, like the backpack, the paint stuff, that gun. Most of the armors most of these paint jobs, and I don't have any of the dog shit. Because fuck dog meat.
Yeah. Your least favorite, most problematic follower is not really going to be your favorite one to get additions for.
Yeah, and it's also the first one you get access to having.
Yeah.
Straight out of the vault. Yeah, you do meet Cogsworth first, but it doesn't become available till after you get back from Concord. With the survivors there from the Quincy Massacre.
So, like, the anniversary edition here, it's got all this DLC stuff, and it's got all this, additional item stuff.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like it feels very reminiscent of what was attempted with Skyrim.
Yeah. They learned nothing.
Like, hey, everybody, we have a 9th fucking re-release edition.
And also, if you notice, there's no price here at all.
Oh, no, they definitely don't want you to know that up front. Oh, no.
So it's either going to be really expensive or, and I doubt this, thoroughly doubt this, it's going to be a free update.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's definitely not going to be a free update. There's no way. That I absolutely doubt.
Who do you think they are? The studio that made Stellar Blade?
No, I mean they're not going to do this as a free update. Oh no. No. This is definitely a cash grab.
Indeed. Let me look at something. Here.
I'll bet you could find out how much it is. I bet it's almost $100. I bet it is $100.
Okay, let's see what comes up here. Okay, that doesn't show anything for price. Because we haven't seen it up on the Xbox Live store. Yeah, there's no indication anywhere of anything yet. So I don't think we're going to know how much until it drops tomorrow. So they're going to stealth drop the price at that point.
My guess is it's going to be at least $40.
Because I do know that this will also be on PlayStation. So let's see if PlayStation has anything yet. I doubt it. But let's just take a look. Now, what I'm about to look at on my PS5, I'm not going to be able to show on screen here. But as it is, though. But I can tell you guys what I see, if anything. And Until Dawn is now in the PS Plus Premium catalog. That's nice. All that comes up is the Fallout 4 that's out at this point. And the fact that you can stream the earlier Fallout games from the PS3 on their streaming service. So there's still nothing about Anniversary Edition on PlayStation or anywhere at this point yet. So we're gonna have to wait till tomorrow.
Yep, they're not going to tell us until they're going to tell us.
Yeah, they're not gonna tell us until it's available for purchase. At that point.
I am guessing it's going to be a bit breathtaking in terms of price.
Let's just see if Amazon has anything or Target. Game of the Year edition. Base game. That's it. Amazon's got nothing.
Yep.
Target.
Boy, if they're aiming to get sales, they're not doing a very good job of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a game that's going to be a game version that's going to be dropping tomorrow, and not a single one of us know what it costs. That's how you don't get sales.
Yeah, and all that comes up is like toys and shit for Fallout when I type in 10th anniversary edition. Like keychains, fake Mentats box, mugs, a statue of a Nuka-Cola machine, a statue of the ghoul from the TV show.
Hey, here's a theory. Maybe
And a
maybe nobody gives a shit.
Well, retailers don't give a shit.
Yeah, and you think they would if it's going to be selling like hotcakes, right?
Well, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're completely in the dark here, aren't we?
All I know is, and all I expect is, what Bethesda said. Make sure mods are disabled so they don't break when the game is updating. That's all they said. So, all I know is the game's going to update at some point. Have your mods disabled. Then after the update's done, re-enabling mods. However, I do know from experience of trying to fidget with mods with Skyrim and Fallout 4, like to purchase, like for example, like another Creation Club thing for Fallout. And when you try to do that, the server crashes, which means the servers are not working for any of it, for the mods or Creation Club, because they're combining them right now.
Yep.
So, if you're going to disable shit, do it fucking fast. Because I don't know how long that's going to up and be working, because you can't download shit or do anything right now.
I gotta say, though, if indeed it is a free update type of content release, then I'd be impressed. That would actually impress me. I just doubt it.
What I fully expect is the update to the game is going to be free. The Creation Club stuff that was shown on the screen here, no.
Yeah, I would.
You're going to have to pay for that. How much money? I don't know, because a lot of that is also widely available on there in the first place.
Yep.
Now, when they did the anniversary edition for Skyrim, they added new things like fishing. Are they going to do that? We didn't see that.
Yep.
Unlike with the advertisement for the...
I mean, other than the trailer, which is basically just the game content itself.
Yeah, with like the DLC and everything.
There isn't any actual game content information given at all.
Yeah, so all this looks like is them just reselling the base game, but giving you access, if you spend money on this, to additional content that's probably already in the Creation Club thing at that point. And I said, a lot of it I've already bought.
So the question mark I have about it is, what the hell makes it an anniversary edition if all it is just a regular game with the DLCs?
The fact that it's coming out 10 years to the day or almost to the day.
Yeah, okay.
Because Fallout 4 originally came out also on 11/11.
I'm just saying, you would think that they would make some changes that would justify the hype surrounding it. But it doesn't appear to be anything different. It appears to be, hey guys, here's a game you've already been playing, you already know, you already own. Buy it again. It kind of reminds me of some of the Skyrim re-releases.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no update to it yet. Which means the update is going to release at some point tomorrow then.
Yeah.
At that point.
And when there's not jack
when we don't know
info.
because no one has any information at all, much less a price for the extra bells and whistles that they're putting into this thing that are largely already available.
Yeah.
But on that note, I do have one other thing for you guys. We got to talk about CD Projekt Red.
Yep.
And what's going on with them right now. Because apparently, according to Smash JT, whom I like and I listen to, abandon all hope, CD Projekt Red embraces woke workplace. And he's got a video about it. Apparently, this woman here, raging feminist apparently. So you know what that means, bro?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we all know.
That means that CD Projekt Red has learned nothing from all the mistakes that Bethesda and Square Enix and so on have made. Now, on the upside, Square Enix has learned from their mistakes and are cutting a lot of woke studios in the West.
Yep.
And laying off a lot of people.
Yep.
And moving seemingly their operations to Japan. Good.
But yeah, we know what this type of thing indicates. It indicates bad writing, girl bosses, self-inserts, all the typical shit that we've seen with all sorts of other games that have been destroyed by them.
Yeah.
You know, and then the message, as Grinker calls it, you know,
yeah,
they can't ever leave the message out of the game.
They never can. So, with that in mind, the next Witcher game, as we were alluding to earlier, good luck with that now, as well as the next Cyberpunk game, which apparently is coming at some point. Any other thoughts there, bro?
Oh, no, I mean, just that, like, people are keen, right? They should know that they're keen. The game developers have got to know that the gamers are keen to their bullshit at this point. They're not hiding anything. They're not keeping anything. They're not going to trick us anymore. They're not going to sell us garbage for a high price and us lop it up like stupid little zombies. We're sick and tired of that bullshit, and it needs to end. And a lot of us are like, you know, you can either make a good game that doesn't have any of that shit going on in it, or you can not have us buy it. Those are your choices.
They're doing a lot of things with that JD Vance thing there.
No, yeah, the JD stuff continues unabated.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the game developers need to get wise to the fact that we're on to them in a sense here.
Yeah.
And we're not going to take it anymore in regards to dumb shit game development.
There was also an interview that Sydney Sweeney did, which the woke interviewer was trying to bait her.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know.
And this
everybody's been chatting about that one last few days.
Say what I want you to say. No.
Yeah.
Because I watched the interview, and Sydney was not having any of it.
Yeah, no, it's like the interviewer was like, I want you to disavow yourself. And she's like, well, I'm not going to do that. So, sorry.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're not sorry about being who you are? Yes.
What should have been said, in my opinion, is no. Are you sorry for who you are?
No, of course not. The journalists have no shame. We were just talking about journalists.
Yeah.
And you know that chick thinks that she's the hero of the story. You know that, right?
Yeah, and also in other news, Tom's album's dropped on Friday.
Yeah. You know that interviewer thinks that she's the hero in this case. Then she's totally not.
Dan Vasquez, a cover of Full Moon.
Yep.
And I am sticking to my vow of not reacting to any of his stuff because apparently his followers are audio Nazis. Apparently, not all of them, but seemingly a majority.
Yeah, no, they only wanted to be heard in THX and nothing less. You know.
Except for not everything runs THX shit.
You know what I'm saying?
And secondly, as I want to remind people that when I react to something here on this channel, if you're coming to to my reaction to watch that video for the first time, don't. Go watch that video for yourself first, then come back and watch my reaction. Now, if you're watching that video for the first time, but you're there for my reaction to it, just as much as seeing it for the first time, and you don't care how it sounds or how StreamYards is compressing audio or whatever is happening, thank you. And that's all I want to say, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, we always, whenever I would, if I were doing reaction videos, I would always just tell people, like, look, what I want you to do first is I want you to go watch the original content first. And then once you've watched the original content from its creator, come back and watch my reaction. And we'll go from there.
Yeah. Something has gone terribly wrong. Men in the 30s, men today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's called feminism.
Sorry, 1947 versus 2021.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, that's all I have here. You have anything that you want to bring up?
Well, the only thing I was going to bring up, other than what we've already discussed, was the death of what was it called? Our World, I think it's called. And
our world died.
No, hold on now. Let me.
That's news to me. When did the nukes fall?
It's not Our World. It's New World. New World Eternum.
Okay.
That game.
That
New
makes
World.
more sense.
New World is apparently dying. Along with several other games that I've probably already mentioned. You know, like ESO is dying too. But in the case of New World. New Worlds is literally dying because the developer literally has been defunded in a sense. So the game might literally be going out of commission entirely real soon. And that's kind of sad because, you know, you hate to see it when a game which had an audience, had players, had, success and really didn't do a whole lot wrong. I mean, it's kind of like, it's just another one of them MMO RPG types, you know, kind of like, you know, World of Warcraft and whatnot. But it's it is worth mentioning. It is sad to see a game that really didn't deserve to dying. But, you know, I guess these things happen sooner or later to every game.
Yeah.
But it's worth noting that, you know, apparently New World is done for.
So, considering that it's November, and there's only one game left to come out for this year that I'll be doing anything with, it's almost time to sit down and hammer out the Drew Game Awards for 2025. Okay?
Well, sure, but we would do that off camera. We wouldn't do that live, though, right? I mean,
we're not doing that live. I'm just going to bring up some stuff that deserves acknowledgement for being good at this point so far this year, because the only thing left is Call of Duty Black Ops, what's it, 7 now?
7? Yeah, 7. Yeah.
That comes out.
Yeah, try and say it with a straight face. Black Ops 7.
that comes out on Friday.
And I could not be less interested if you paid me to be.
Well, I'll be playing it from Game Pass, so I'm not buying it.
I'll be not touching it with a 40,000-foot pole.
But on that note, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which probably isn't getting nominated at the Woke Jeff Keighley Awards because it came out at like in February or March or something. Right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remake.
Sure, which was pretty fantastic.
And then a couple of recent releases. One, well, actually three closer to recent releases. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black.
Yep.
Ninja Gaiden 4.
Yep.
And Battlefield 6.
Yep, which I have high praise for myself.
Also, Expedition 33, which is the Claire Obscure Business.
Yep.
Let's see. MLB The Show 25.
Yep.
And in the best ongoing game category, Among Us still.
Yeah, the problem that Among Us is now facing is that it really doesn't have a whole lot of players playing it right now. It's challenging to get a group together anymore on that one.
Mm-hmm. And that's all I can talk about right now, because we gotta sit down and hammer shit out later.
Yeah.
And then, but next time we get together for one of these things, it'll be episode 76, and as I said at the top, it'll be us talking about Fallout 76. And specifically, it being called Why I Hate Fallout 76.
Yeah, all of the disastrous details and, well, basically what formed our incredibly negative opinion of that particular title.
On top of the fact that a studio that breaks their single-player games with updates, that has no business making an MMO, made an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously,
and frankly, it's one of the worst aspects of that game too. That game did not need to be that way. It was a disaster.
It came out as a disaster.
Uh-huh.
And I know some people are saying the updates have made it great. Blah blah blah. I started playing it I booted it back up for the first time in years, like a couple weeks ago now. And had the same exact experience I did at launch. That being, people not leaving me the fuck alone to do anything.
Yeah, it's
so
the PvP experience in the game is fucking brutal, and there are people who, again, it just reminds me of a lot of the other toxic PvP type games that exist out there. And yeah, there's just no enjoying them. There's no way to really have any actual fun.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're a troll or a jerk, then you might have fun, I guess. But
and apparently, that's the only people that play Fallout 76 are trolls.
Yeah.
Apparently, at least in my experience. Now, have I made friends playing Fallout 76 when I did at launch? Yes. In fact, one of which I was already friends with before Fallout 76.
Fallout 76 as is kind of it's for the people who enjoy getting off on hurting other people and ruining their day.
Yeah.
That's what that game is for.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a sadistic, psychopathic, maybe even sociopathic douche, that's your game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can think a couple people come to mind, and a couple of them I'm friends with on Xbox Live. But as it is, though, and I'm not going to say their names.
Yes, especially considering we're up here smearing character here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as it is,
we're character assassinating that whole game and its whole player base right here.
Well, I'm not going to character assassinate the whole player base. Just the ones who fuck with people while they're trying to rebuild their base in a new location.
Yeah, too bad it's really an unfortunate majority on that particular game.
Yeah.
So,
but what I am going to do on the next episode of Breaking Rocks with why I hate Fallout 76 is I am going to rip Bethesda the fuck apart. Except for they're doing quite fine with that themselves. Just like Microsoft and Xbox.
Yep.
But with all of that said, I want to thank you guys for watching this hour-and-a-half long edition of Breaking Rocks.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for doing so. Hit the like on your way out or way in. I don't care which direction you go, and I don't care if you say mahalo while doing it. And I guess you didn't find that funny.
Yeah, they can say whatever they want.
Because
Okay.
mahalo evidently means hello and goodbye.
Yeah.
So on that note, guys, thank you. We'll see you guys maybe next Sunday. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out and what's going on because it is November and Thanksgiving is almost upon us, just like this guy's birthday.
Yep. Yeah, it's a coming.
Well, it's not my concern.
We'll see you guys next time to shit on Fallout 76, which isn't hard to do.
Yeah.
With that said, mahalo.
I will never say I'm sorry, I ain't taking nothing back. I don't care if I offend you.